once we get a chance to see it. But what would you like to discuss? What would you like to talk about?
Weirdly, I actually wanted to talk about Nick Cassidy.
Of
Wow, that's
course.
crazy.
Well,
But
we can go back to that.
I know you've kind of already touched on it, but I kind of want to touch on a different point, which is something that a lot of people have been saying, in that a lot of people are questioning if whether or not he made the right decision leaving Jaguar.
Yes. This was going to be my
And
question to you, so go for it.
I kind of want to say that I think he did, and I don't think he's going to regret leaving Jaguar,
Okay.
because I know the car has improved, but from the way that it looks, I don't know if he left because of the car,
Yep.
if that makes sense. Like, I think it was your guys' interview with him where he said that he was thinking of leaving since the middle of last year, or maybe it was a different interview. I've been watching a lot of them, but he said that he started thinking about leaving at the middle of last year, which is before the car went downhill. So I
Interesting.
don't think he's regretting anything. I think he made the decision before the car went downhill, and I think it's actually a good decision in a way, because the problems with strategy that kind of reared its head yesterday with Mitch Evans have been present for the entire time that Nick's been at Jaguar, and I think that's probably part of the reason he chose to leave.
I think it might be slightly different. That could be a point, what you've said. But what you've said is, I think, new to me. So I haven't heard the interview that you've heard, so I'll go and try and find that. But if it is the case that he's been looking to leave since last season, the problem with being at Jaguar, and I think this is the problem Antonio Felix da Costa is having, is there is no other drive. There is no other, what do I do when there's no, in these 3-4 week gaps that we find ourselves in Formula E, and where other drivers can go off and race in different championships. And
Mm.
I think Nick Cassidy might want to race in other championships. And by going to Stellantis, it opens the door to Peugeot. It opens the door to other
Yeah,
brands where he can race in other series. And guess where there is absolutely no clashes next season?
the
WEC.
World Endurance Championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
So
I can see that as well. I definitely see that angle as well. I think that's also a part of it. Um, I really hope he does have a Peugeot seat next year.
I'd like to butt in for a
go
second
on.
and say this might happen to Nico Muller, because I spoke to Toby. I can't remember which day it was. I think it might have been Friday, but I'm fairly certain he said that Nico Muller was what wanted to do more than just what wanted to look at other series as well.
Yeah.
Whether that was staying in Formula E or departing Formula E, who knows? But I think he wants to look at doing WEC as well. So I just thought I'd throw that nugget in because
Yeah,
that
I
just
wouldn't
popped
su-
in
wouldn't
my
wouldn't
brain as well.
surprise me if Nico Miller wants to do WEC as
Yeah, I
well.
think now
Right.
there's no clashes, I think it will be a lot more appealing to drivers to kind of like attempt to try out WEC at the same time.
Yep.
And I think that being at a team that doesn't allow you to do that is going to become a thing that maybe not a lot of people want,
Yep.
which might make it more difficult for people like Jaguar to convince drivers to come to their team.
The one thing I will say is that I think next year people will be a bit more lax on this because there are no clashes between Formula E and WEC for the first time
In a very long
since I
time.
want to say season 9
You're doing
was the
very well
last
if that's true.
time. So yeah, I can see people being a little bit more lax. The only thing that gets close is that they probably have to fly after Harama out to Qatar for the prologue. That's the only thing that should
But they wouldn't
worry
mind.
them.
As Antonio Felix da Costa
Yeah.
said, he's a racing driver, so he wants to be racing every weekend. So, I did try and put that question to da Costa in my question. I was like, but what happens if there is no team that is offering? Then that is Jaguar. That is Jaguar. Jaguar don't offer you anything, right? It's Formula E
Yeah.
and that's it. And what about then? Is that it's maybe does he have to work his own contracts to get into it? Because obviously Jaguar aren't going to provide something. So, and yeah, so for Nick Cassidy leaving, maybe that is the decision. He just wants to race more.
Yeah, I 100% can see that, especially where he does have a lot of, sports car experience in the past. I think that being able to have a contract. I think maybe that's why he chose Stellantis specifically, is because they can offer that kind of dual program. Because the car looks kind of on similar standing in Formula E to Jaguar at the moment. Obviously, Gen 4 is going to be a new rule set, and that development starts next year. But I think that is probably part of it. I hope that's part of it. I hope that he does get the Peugeot seat for next year or beyond, because it would be incredible to watch him do a dual program. I really want to see him race in Hypercar.
Yep.
But yeah, I kind of got a bit tired of kind of everyone saying, oh, well, is he going to regret leaving Jaguar now? Like, it was kind of this big thing the second that he started winning. And I think there's a lot more that goes into it than just base car performance.
Yeah.
And obviously, even though the car's gotten better, I still think it is just a very narrow performance window. It seems to, drastically change how it performs based on the wind.
Yeah. I do think that the drivers in the future will struggle, because if Formula E want what they want of 24 races in like 18 locations or something like that, and if they are able to achieve that, then over the course of a season you'd assume there'll be more races in between. There wouldn't be many gaps. So then finding time to go off and do Le Mans practice or do a Spa 6 hours might be a bit more challenging. But that's, they're hoping for the series to grow. But at this stage where the series is, there is still quite a bit of gaps between races, it's the perfect opportunity to go and explore other options.
Realistically, if there is going to be 18 weekends in a season, to have a somewhat long enough summer break, basically, there would be races that would be back to back. And from what I can remember, I think we only had back to back races
Paris
once.
and Monaco.
Paris and Monaco. I think it was season 3 or something.
I did it.
But yeah, that's the only time I can ever remember there being
that was good fun.
Back to back races. It was always two. It's either been 2 or 3 weeks, or in some cases 15. So yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least it feels like it.
It'll be a weird feeling if Formula E goes from like 1 month breaks to 1 week breaks. I think that will be a bit of a jarring transition. I feel like that's probably a little way away with kind of the struggles that they've had getting races on the calendar, which means that kind of a lot of people will be more used to kind of not being able to do dual programs by the time we get to the stage where it is 18 weekends a year. But I think it's way away with the fact that like obviously we're still having races drop out within like a few months of the season starting. I think it's getting 18 places to commit to it is still a ways off.
Still a ways off. Zoe, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
No worries. We'll speak